Hey everyone, it's Dave with Android Police, and we're at the LG booth taking a real quick look at the G3 Stylus. You might have heard about this phone. It was announced last week. This is not really a G3 per se, other than the way it looks. It does look like a G3, but really this is a much cheaper device intended for emerging markets and probably Asia. It may see light of day in Europe in some markets, but I doubt we'll ever see this device in America. It has a little Qhd display, as in 960 by 540. So obviously eschewing the full Qhd display of the LG G3, a 1.4 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 processor, a quad-core, just 1 gigabyte of RAM, 8 gigabytes of internal storage, and Android 4.4.2 running basically the same software as the G3. It has a 5.5-inch display, interestingly, so it does keep the big screen size of the G3. It's just, it has a little bit of a bigger bezel, so the device itself is slightly larger. As far as the way it feels, the texture on the back here is a little different than the G3. I use the G3 at home, and this feels different. I like it a little more, but it also feels kind of cheap. I'm not sure exactly. The phone also seems to be thicker than the regular G3. Of course, the big trick with the G3 Stylus is going to be the stylus. Unfortunately, this isn't any kind of fancy conductive stylus. This is just capacitive, so it's just a rubber tip. It's just like anything you could buy, basically, in the aftermarket and use with the device. LG's probably done some optimizations here to make it a little easier to use the stylus. So you can see it draws. It's not particularly sensitive, and honestly, if you're trying to get too fine with your characters here, it really doesn't detect it very well at all. This is definitely it's competing with the Note 3 in the sense that it's trying to undercut the Note 3 by a lot to try to get those buyers in emerging markets on a stylus phone that's more affordable. Whether or not there's a huge demand for stylus phones, I'm not really sure. I wouldn't say that's what makes the Note 4 popular, but LG obviously thinks there's something to the idea. Again, you probably won't see this phone in America ever, but that is the LG G3 Stylus.